Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to Simply Explained English. I am your host, Sarah. If you are a regular listener, you know that usually this studio is quite noisy. Usually there are two people here. There is me, and there is my energetic, wonderful colleague, Jack. We usually laugh, we argue about grammar, and we talk fast. But today, look around with me. The studio is quiet. The other chair, Jack's chair, is empty. Where is Jack? Is he sick? No. Did he quit? Definitely not. Jack did something very brave. He packed a small bag, he turned off his smartphone, and he drove 4 hours into the mountains. He rented a small wooden cabin, no Wi-Fi, no television, just books, trees, and silence. He told me, "Sarah, the world is too loud. I need to hear my own thoughts." So, today, you are stuck with me, just Sarah. And because Jack is practicing the art of slowing down, I decided that we should be the same. Today, we are not going to rush through 10 different vocabulary words. We are not going to analyze complex grammar structures like the third conditional. No. Today, we are going to have a long, calm conversation about life. Specifically, about the speed of modern life. I want you to imagine something. Imagine we are not on a podcast. Imagine we're sitting in a comfortable living room. There's a fire in the fireplace. You have a cup of tea. I have a cup of coffee. It is raining outside. We have nowhere to go. We have nothing to do. We just have time. Are you comfortable? Good. Let's begin. Part 1. The badge of busyness. I want to start with a question, a simple question. When you meet a friend on the street or a colleague in the elevator and you ask, "How are you?" what is the answer? 10 years ago, people said, "I am fine," or "I am doing well." But today? Today, the answer is almost always the same. "I am busy," or "I am so stressed. I have no time." Have you noticed this? Being busy has become a fashion. It is like a badge of honor. We wear our stress like a medal on our chest. We think, if I'm busy, I am important. If I am not busy, maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I am not successful. Let me tell you a story about my life. A few years ago, I was exactly like this. I was working in a big office in the city center. Every morning was a race. The alarm rang at 6:30 a.m. I checked my emails before I opened my eyes. I drank my coffee while I was showering. Okay, not literally, but almost. I ran to the subway. If the train was 1 minute late, I was angry. I tapped my foot. I looked at my watch. "Come on, come on," I shouted inside my head. One day, I was in the supermarket. I was standing in line to pay for my groceries. The woman in front of me was an old lady. She was very slow. She was counting her coins, one by one. Inside, I felt my blood pressure go up. I sighed loudly. I thought, "Please hurry up. I have things to do." Then, the old lady turned around. She smiled at me. She had the kindest eyes. She said, "Young lady, you have a beautiful life waiting for you. Don't run past it." I froze. I felt ashamed. I was rushing to go home. To do what? To sit on my sofa and watch TV? Was that worth my anger? That moment changed me. I realized that being busy is not a sign of success. Often, being busy is a sign that we have lost control of our time. Why are we so busy? Why do we feel this pressure? The answer is in your pocket. It is probably in your hand right now. Your smartphone. This little device is a miracle. It gives us maps, music, and knowledge. But it also steals something very precious: our attention. We have a condition called FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. This is why we check Instagram every 10 minutes. We are afraid. We see our friends at parties. We see people on holiday in Bali. We see people eating at expensive restaurants. And we think, oh no, my life is boring. I am missing the fun. I need to go out. I need to do more. This fear drives us. It makes us run. But today, I want to teach you the opposite. I want to teach you my favorite acronym, JOMO. JOMO. It stands for joy of missing out. JOMO is a beautiful feeling. It means you know there is a party tonight, but you choose not to go. And you are happy about it. It means you are happy to be at home in your pajamas reading a book. It means you don't know the latest news on Twitter and you don't care. Practicing JOMO is not easy. It takes courage. Try this experiment. Next Sunday, turn off your phone for 4 hours. At first, you will feel strange. You will reach for your pocket. You think the phone is ringing, but it's not. This is withdrawal. It is like stopping coffee or sugar. But after 1 hour, something magical happens. Your brain slows down. You notice the light in the room. You notice the sound of the birds. You realize that the world is actually very calm. The noise was only in your phone. Now, let's talk about another area where we rush: food. How do you eat lunch? Do you sit at a nice table? Do you chew slowly? Do you taste the spices? Or do you eat a sandwich with one hand while typing on your computer with the other hand? We treat food like fuel, like putting petrol in a car. We just want to fill the tank and keep moving. There is a movement called the slow food movement. It started in Italy, of course. The idea is simple. Food is not just fuel. Food is pleasure. Food is culture. Food is connection. When I was busy, I bought pre-made meals. I put them in the microwave. Ding! 2 minutes. Dinner is ready. I ate it in 5 minutes while watching Netflix. I didn't even look at the food. Now, I try to cook at least 3 times a week. Cooking is a meditation. Think about it. You have to chop the onions. You cannot rush this or you will cut your finger. You have to wait for the water to boil. You cannot make water boil faster by shouting at it. You have to smell the garlic, the basil, the tomato sauce. When we cook and eat slowly, our digestion is better, our bodies are happier. Here is a challenge for you tonight. Eat your dinner without a screen. No TV, no phone, no YouTube. Just you and your food, or you and your family. Look at the colors on your plate. Taste the texture. It might feel boring at first, but this is how we reconnect with our bodies. Part 4. Slowing down in relationships. Speed is dangerous for our health, but it is fatal for our relationships. You cannot speed date your family. You cannot have a fast, deep conversation with your best friend. Relationships require presence. let's talk about listening. There is a big difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is biological. Sound waves hit your ear. Listening is emotional. It means you are focusing 100% on the other person. When we are busy, we stop listening. We interrupt. Your friend is telling a story and you say, yeah, get to the point. Or you are thinking about your grocery list while your child is talking about school. This hurts people. It makes them feel unimportant. I want to share a technique with you. It is called the 3-second rule. It is very simple. When someone finishes speaking, count to 3 in your head before you answer. 1, 2, 3. Then speak. Why? First, it ensures they are really finished. Maybe they pause to take a breath. Second, it shows that you are thinking about their words. You are digesting what they said. Third, it calms the conversation. It removes the panic. Try this with your partner or your parents. Just slow down the rhythm of the dialogue. Look at their eyes. Put the phone face down on the table. You will be surprised. You will learn things about them that you never knew. Part 5. Slow learning in English context. Since this is an English learning podcast, I must talk about language. Many of you ask me, Sarah, how can I learn English fast? I want to be fluent in 3 months. I see ads on the internet, learn English in 7 days. I have to tell you the truth. This is a lie. Language is a plant. It is not a building. You cannot build it with bricks in 1 week. It has to grow. Roots must go deep. When you rush your learning, you try to memorize 50 words a day. You use flashcard apps on the bus. Swipe, swipe, swipe. You pass the test, but 1 week later, you forget everything. This is fast learning. It is like fast food. It fills you up quickly, but it has no nutrition. I want to propose slow learning. What is slow learning? It means learning less, but learning deeper. Instead of 50 words, learn 1 word today. Take the word run. Look it up. Run a marathon. Physical. Run a company. Business. My nose is running. Health. The water is running. Household. Play with the word. Write sentences. Say it aloud. Enjoy the process. Don't worry about the destination. Don't worry about fluency. Fluency is just a result. It comes naturally if you enjoy the journey. If you read a book in English, don't try to read fast. Read 1 page. If you don't understand a sentence, stop. Look at it. Why is it like that? Appreciate the grammar. Slow learners actually learn faster in the long run because they don't forget. Part 6. Nature and Travel. Before we finish, I want to talk about travel. Jack is in the mountains. He is doing it right. But how do most people travel today? I am going to Europe. I will do London, Paris, Rome, and Berlin in 5 days. They run from the airport to the museum. They take a selfie with the Mona Lisa. Click. They run to the bus. They eat a sandwich. They sleep. Next city. Is this travel? Or is this a checklist? You see the places, but you don't feel them. There is a concept called slow travel. It means you go to one place and you stay there. You don't go to the tourist traps, you go to a local bakery. You sit there for 2 hours. You watch the people, you smell the bread, you talk to the baker. You walk down a street without a map. You get lost. Getting lost is wonderful. When you are lost, you find surprises. When you travel slowly, you return home rested. When you travel fast, you return home exhausted, needing another holiday to recover from your holiday. Nature teaches us this too. Look at a tree. A tree is never in a hurry. You never see a tree running. Yet the tree grows. It makes leaves in spring. It drops them in autumn. It is strong. Lao Tzu, the philosopher, said, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." If you feel stressed this week, go to a park, sit on a bench, look at a tree for 10 minutes. The tree will teach you how to breathe. Before I go, I want to answer a question sent by a listener. This email is from Marco in Spain. Marco asks, "Sarah, I love the idea of slowing down, but I have a boss who is very demanding. If I slow down, I might lose my job. What should I do?" This is a great question, Marco, and it is very real. Slowing down does not mean you stop working. It does not mean you are lazy. Actually, when you slow down, you work better. When you rush, you make mistakes. When you make mistakes, you have to fix them. That takes more time. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. My advice, Marco, do not answer emails instantly. Create blocks of time for deep work. Tell your boss, "I am focusing on this project for 2 hours, so I will not check email until 11 a.m." Usually, bosses respect focus. They want results, not speed. Try to find small moments of slow in your fast day. Take your lunch break outside, not at your desk. Breathe for 1 minute before a meeting. You cannot change your boss, but you can change your reaction. Conclusion. My friends, we have covered a lot today. We talked about the cult of busy. We talked about JOMO versus FOMO. We talked about slow food, slow relationships, and even slow English learning. I hope this episode helps you. I hope it gives you permission to stop. You don't have to win the race. Life is not a race. It is a walk. It is a dance. Jack will be back soon. I am sure he will have amazing stories from his cabin. We will probably talk about adjectives for nature or something similar. But until then, I have a request for you. After this podcast finishes, do not play the next one immediately. Take 5 minutes of silence. Just sit. Think about what we discussed. I am Sarah. This is Simply Explained English. Thank you for spending your time with me. Go slowly. Be happy. Goodbye.